So, I want to end today with a testimony from a young woman. I didn't get a chance to talk to her very much before the service. She has something really amazing to tell you, what God is doing to her life. When Melissa actually and I kind of met her together, there wasn't much peace there, was there? And God has done something amazing. And I don't know really what she's going to say, how far she'll go, but I hope she won't be afraid, because this is a safe place, and you can be honest, because we all struggle. But God has the answers. We don't have the answers in ourselves without Him, without His presence. So, Jada, would you come forward, and you can do this. Jeff, can you move this for me, please? You're going to do awesome. Thank you.
What am I supposed to say?
It's all right. God's going to tell you. Tell him why you had to, why Melissa and I. Go start with that.
Give me a second.
It's okay.
I'm going to get red. I'm brown, but I get red. Just going to let you know that now. It's okay. Don't know what I'm going to say.
Just tell the truth.
When I came to Melissa and Cindy and Teresa, I was suicidal. I was addicted to pills. And I didn't care. Not at all. I did not care. I was ruining my life while he was calling for me. So it was this church parking lot. I had pills in my hand. I went and bought some from the street. And I was going to commit suicide right there. I was going to do it. This is just 3 months ago, maybe. And I was going to do it. And I told him, I said, you got to give me one reason. You've got to give me a saving grace to save myself. And he gave me Melissa's name. And he wanted me to tell her everything, because I didn't tell her everything. I just told her little bits and pieces. So I did. And she didn't text me, she called me. And she was like, I need you to have a sozo with me and Cindy. She was like, it's gonna heal you. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I'm sorry, I didn't. I was like, you cannot tell me one thing is gonna heal me like that quick. And it didn't. Because I left that sozo and I felt good that day. I felt good that whole day. I mean, of course. And I had an encounter with God. And I was telling them, I see things. I see him. He walked to me, he talked to me, he loved on me. And it made me feel so whole in that moment. It was so amazing. And I'm telling them, and they're like, that's a gift. Not everybody sees and just talks to him. And I've done this for years. And I thought it was my own imagination. So I left, didn't feel any different the next day, got off of pills. I took them, but I did not take them. I bought them, but I did not take them. And I was like, I went to this thing, I poured my heart out to these two women who I've just started talking to, and I don't feel any different. And he said, yeah. He said, you're thanking me? And I did. I prayed a lot more. I prayed so much more. He said, and you've been thanking me. He said, but you haven't asked me to walk with you, with whatever you do. And I was like, okay then. And me and Jesus argue. I'm going to let you know that now. We argue. And I was like, okay, well then walk with me. Let's do it. And I don't say this to be like, oh, it was like that, but it was like that. Things started slowly, and he didn't just completely solve it for me. He gave me the tools and what I needed to do to solve it, because he did it with me. I didn't have to do it by myself. And that was my problem, is I was trying to do everything by myself. And I have grown up in church. They've had me in church since I was born. Never felt connected to God. Actually, I was scared of him because, like she said, he was this big bad guy. I sat in church at 7 and had a meltdown because they were talking about how he sacrificed his life, but it didn't speak to me. So to me, it sounded like one of y'all got to get sacrificed, and I thought it was going to be me. I started crying. It was bad. Like, my granny had to take me out of the church. It was bad. So I was scared until I came here. And I learned that he's not scary. He loves you. And I was like, you don't love me. Like when she asked me to do this testimony, I still had the message. I'm like, me? A testimony? No, I'm not. No. But Melissa told me it's not about, because I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm so not done. I still have so many things I have to fix, and I have so many things. But it's easier because he's doing it with me.
Yes.
And I'm a runner. I will admit, I'm a runner. When I've ran from this church so many times, I came always and sat right back there, the very back. There was 3 chairs, and I sat at one of them. I didn't want nobody else sitting by me. I'm just coming to, praise the big man and go home. And then Melissa started talking to me, and she started talking to me, and Teresa talked to me, always. She always called me over and talked to me. And then slowly people started talking to me, and I felt it. Because the church I went to, nobody talked to you, You went in, and I've made mistakes, I have. And I've actually been told that I can't go back. That's religion. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Yes. Melissa taught me that. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. But I'm not done. I'm so not done. But to me, it was, and I call Melissa all the time, my saving grace, and she's like, no, it was a Jesus thing. But it was. These 3 women will always have just a special part because they helped save my life. They helped save my life because I felt so low that I thought I could do God's job and take my own life, and I can't do that. That's not for me to do. And he tells me all the time, and he talks to me, and it's to the point I've had 2 sozos, and now I sozo myself. I was sozoing myself at work the other day because everything was crazy. Everything was crazy. I couldn't get it done. I hadn't been to church because, like I said, I'm a runner, and when things get hard, I leave real quick. I actually left earlier, told Heather I was going to get my phone. I was going to get my keys. I was leaving. I was like, I'm not talking in front of these people. Nope, not doing it. Didn't come to church on purpose early because I didn't want to do this. I didn't. It made me nervous to stand in front. I've never talked in front of people. But when I sat down and I talked to him that day and put my head on the desk, he told me, I don't want you to be like a toddler. And then I can see these pictures, and I now know not everybody sees the pictures, but I thought everybody did. But I see these pictures, and he walked up to me and he talked to me. And he was like, I don't want you to wade in the water in the shallow end where it's safe now. He was like, so I'm going to make you uncomfortable so you move deeper. Because I eventually want you to be so far deep that I'm the only thing holding you up and you trust me to hold you up. Because that's what me and God are battling now is I'm not ashamed to admit it. Right now, I don't fully trust all the way. I do, but I don't. Because he scared me when I was younger. But he's not that. He's not bad. He's not just waiting, like she said, to just whack you when you do something wrong. He wants to love you, and he wants to help you. He doesn't want to punish you. And I'm understanding that now. And I talk with my hands, I'm sorry. But to me, I wasn't the right person to even be sitting up here doing this. Because I'm not done. I'm not done, but I've came so far.
Not either.
I'm not. But to this day, I sit and I'm almost a month in of not wanting to commit suicide. I've wanted to commit suicide since I was 15 years old. 15. I wanted to take my life. And I mean, that's something hard. That's hard to tell your mother, the person that birthed you, or God, that I don't want this life that you've given me. I don't want it because I didn't appreciate it. But he's told me, he told me, I made you like fire, or something like that. After that, I would get daily verses about the fire and how much he will bring to the fire, and they will be all around the fire, and it will burn. And I was like, I don't understand it. And to me, I'm not special enough. To me, I'm not. I didn't even know anybody in here. I'm from McAllister. Usually Wilburton people don't like McAllister because of our sports, but so I knew nobody. I'm not from Wilburton, never even really came to Wilburton. But now Wilburton is my home because this is my home. But it's not And I feel like, I just didn't feel like I could really, do this, because I feel like so many people, like I look at so many people, and so many people are farther ahead than me. I'm like, they've got such a better story. Go pick one of them. But then he told me, but what about the ones that are in the middle of their story that think it's time to just give up because they think, well, everybody's already done. I can't do it. I can't. He only picks certain people. No, he picks people that you did, because if you would have met me 6 months ago, you wouldn't have thought he picked me. But it's just in peace. That's all I wanted. That's what I told Cindy. They told me, what are you wanting from this? And I said, peace. I said, I want to be able to lay my head down and not feel like I want to take my life or take a pill to go to sleep or be addicted to it. I want that. I want that. I want to be able to come in here and put my hands up and worship and feel it. I don't want to come in here and feel empty but act like everything. And I don't want to come in here acting like everything's okay, because it's not. And I'm okay now, but it's only because I have him. Because the minute I start running, is the minute everything goes wrong. Because I haven't asked him for help. He hasn't helped me. And it's a crazy feeling. And now that I think about it now, it's a crazy feeling that I wanted to take the life that he gave me, because he gave it to me. He gave it to me. He picked me, and he has told me that. He said, there's all these people. He said, and I pick every one of them. I make them. He said, and it's not your job to take you out. He was like, but you're letting the enemy take you out. And I'm trying, and he'll call for me, and I'll hear him. And I will. I'll hear him, and sometimes I'll ignore it, and it's not your head, I promise, because I thought it was my head. And Cindy taught me it's not your head. That's God. And it's a humbling feeling, and it's an amazing feeling. I didn't think I was ready yet to do this right here, but I'm happy I did, because it just shows the younger people, or the people that are in the middle of it, that know I still have storms. I deal with comparisons. It's a storm. It's a storm, but it's about having peace during the storm.
Yes.
And being calm during the storm while the storm is going on, because yes, the storm's going on, but God's telling me how to deal with it. God's leading my boat. So he knows how to get me away from it. So it gets not easier. I don't want to say easier, because you always have hardships.
Easier
it does get easier
to deal with.
Yes.
You'll still have hardships, but they'll get easier to deal with.
They get easier to deal with. But there's one person that gets credit for it. My mom tells me all the time. She's like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. I'm so happy you don't want to kill you. Because, that's big. Y'all are moms. That's big for your child to tell you they don't want to live. And I did several times. Several times I did. I told her, I don't want to be here. Please, just let me do it. And that's hard. And she tells me all the time, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy you don't want to. And I can't take the credit for it, because it's not mine. It's his.
Yeah.
He did it for me, because I gave it to him during my sozo, and I told him it was not mine anymore. It was his. And he took it. He took it. He had no problem taking it, because he loves us all. So it's not, I guess, I didn't even know what I was going to say, so this all just came from my head, but I guess it's still hard. It's still hard, but it's easier at the same time, because you're still having those storms, but you know that there's one person. It's not the police. It's not your mom. It's God. That's the first person you call. And as soon as I did that, everything, and people started falling off. I started losing friends, because they don't believe it. They don't believe, but I've seen it. I've had Jesus himself. Cindy, and I opened my eyes, and Cindy and Melissa were just like, and I was like.
Yeah, you've got to tell them this piece, because she was talking about letting go of her thoughts of suicide and wanting to kill herself. And so we asked her to say, ask Jesus, what does he think about that? So she's talking about sozo, and it's just prayer counseling. We just connect you to God so you can hear God. And so she said, Jesus, what do you have to say about me, my life, and what you want to do with it? I want you to tell them what you saw. That's the piece that was so profound, that you're talking about our faces like, whoa, when he showed you the gates.
Oh, okay. You lost me, but I got you back. Okay, so we were the whole time during that sozo. And every sozo, I've felt different, and I've had a different experience with him. But this sozo, he wasn't, I closed my eyes and I was looking for a picture, like he always gives me. And then he gives me a movie scene through that picture. But I wasn't getting it at first. And then I seen a man walking, and he got so close, and I was like, it's Jesus. And I was telling him how I just felt empty, and I felt just broken, because I did. I felt broken. It was just empty and broken, all inside me. So he took me, and we walked. And we're walking, and we're walking, and he's walking with me, and he's talking, and he talks to me like we're, we are friends, but, but like, like I've done this. He walks me, and I see gates. And these gates are miles long, down this way and down this way, but there's an opening. And I can't go in. I wanted to jump on in, like I was gonna go in, but he wouldn't let me go in. But just standing so close to those gates, probably about from here to right there, you feel, I almost started crying. Like you feel a whole and just happy, in any of my problems went away. I didn't think about them for a minute. Not for a minute. It was just a whole, and I told him, I said, I want to go in. And he said, you're here because I'm telling you it's not your time to go in yet. It's not time for you to go in there yet. And I told Cindy, and they said, but you can bring that down. Yes. You can bring it down, and you can, and so I've started doing that, when things get really hard, I try to recreate that. And it's never the same feeling, because when you're in front of them gates, you know the feeling, you know it. And I was actually talking to my friend Tanya, and she was like, when my dad passed away, she said he had, flatlined. She said, and he was gone for a good not 5 minutes. I'm being so dramatic, like a minute or two. But he said when he woke up, he's seen gates. And at the same gates I described, she said my dad described to me. So you can't tell me there's not one, but there was, I can't even, just, you have to feel it. You have to feel it. And everybody will, but that is a feeling. That was a feeling that I couldn't shake for a long time. That stuck with me, and it still sticks with me today. That's what made me come back, because I had left again, because I'm a runner, and I leave every time. And it made me come back, and they told me, and if I could explain it to you guys or let you feel it, I wish I could, because it is the most wholesome feeling you will ever feel in your life. It is the most wholesome, and it takes your breath away. And they're gates, and they're long, and he loves on you. And he put his hand on my cheek, and he kissed my head, and I felt that all day. I felt him touch me. I felt him, and that's all I could say to them was he touched me. And like I was trying to show them, but like they couldn't see nothing, obviously. And so I was like, he did though, I promise, he did. It was right here. And it is an amazing feeling. And I don't, like I said, I'm not done. I'm still struggling, but I'm learning that he is peace. I just got 2 kids. They're not mine, but I got a 15 and 16-year-old. And the first week, I was stressed. Didn't come to church. I was like, I don't have time. And then I heard him say, you don't have time for me? And I was like, nope, didn't say that. Nope, wait, reverse. Take it back. And he said, make time. I am worth your time. And he is, he's right. And then he told me, don't run, trust me.
Yes.
And then she texted me.